Hello and welcome to Evil Ginger Miniatures again. This is an episode I didn't think was going to happen 10 minutes ago because most of yesterday afternoon I spent locked in single combat with various pieces of new kit, and they weren't cooperating with each other and OBS wasn't cooperating with them and stuff was locking up like you'd seen it done before. I don't think I need to illustrate that. But this morning, having actually had some sleep and recovered a little bit from the urge to throw everything out of the window without opening it, we now have everything working. It turns out my computer, the big one that I run my recording studio off of, has not one, but two, but three separate USB buses. One on the motherboard, one is the little one that goes on top that's meant to be accessible when you're using it because it's a desktop one and it's supposed to be in the corner of your desk so you can reach up and put USB drives and that sort of thing in there. So that's got its own USB bus apparently. And I also installed one because of the earlier issues. So I've got my main camera running on the main USB. I've got the little Biro one running on the one on top, which I don't use because I now use the installed one because it's easier to get to from sitting down here. And I've got the new E camera. So we've got my ugly face. We've got this is the Biro camera. This is a view of the desk, the workbench, and I can paint things. And people can see what I'm painting if I don't get my hands in the way. And then we've got the overview of the office from Biro. So we have got it all set up, I think. Haven't tried painting with everything on, but I might be able to do something constructive with that. This is the setup that I've been wanting for a long time. In fact, this is the setup I wanted from the beginning. So I think we're going to be able to get there, and you're going to be able to see me doing painty stuff. It's still a tiny little cramped office and everything's in the way of everything else. And I've had to move the tripod into as out of the way as you get in here, and there's loads of rubbish everywhere that I need to clear up. But progress is being made, I feel, and this is always good for me to make progress. As I say, you can see that. Also, the other issue I found with the Biro, with the new camera, was it's supposed to fit. I would have thought it would have fitted on that screw. I'll move that out of the way for a second. On there, but no, it's a different screw gauge. My camera, my standard compact camera, which you can see here, screws on there and is secure. That's a different screw gauge. I think this one might screw into it, which is a knockoff Gorilla Grip thing, but unfortunately I don't like this one particularly because it's not actually very supportive, whereas this is good and solid. It'll take the weight of the camera and not wobble. This thing is a bit wobbly, so I might get another one of these, hopefully with a different adapter. I was thinking I was going to have to bring the new camera really close to get a decent picture, but it doesn't look like I have to. So that's a win. That can go back downstairs in the workshop. That can go back downstairs in the workshop, and I can potentially get them painting things. Down here, I'll just take a quick snap for the to help with the screenshot. So we're getting there. Also means, I think, that I'm going to be able to get role-playing books out and put them in front of me and actually read them, and you can see notes I'm writing. You might not be able to read them because it's my handwriting after all, and you know, most people don't read it very well, including me, about 6 months after I've written it. But it's beginning to feel like it's all coming together rather than head banging against a brick wall. And I might have a very hard head, but brick walls argue back. So that's developments on the IT side. We appear to be winning. On the painting side, we have lots of things on. I don't have all of them to hand. I'm still waiting for the replacement chips, the ones that I made a mess of. Well, I think I made a mess of them. I don't know and it's my opinion that counts. So these are the 1/1200 chips, but I'm getting a whole new set of these and a 1/600 chip to basically have a go at painting those. I think I've got the idea for painting, how to do them. I just was doing it the wrong way, and it's been hot, and I've not been thinking very efficiently because it's been hot, and I'm not very good at hot. It was 14 degrees when I came in here this morning, and that was at about 3:30 in the morning. I don't know what it is now. I could look it up on the laptop, which I've got open, with the instructions for the new camera, because I thought I was going to have to go through them again and check instructions and things like that. And all I had to do was make sure I'd used all 3 USB ports. But that's the sort of thing that doesn't occur to you when you're tired and you're hot and you just want the blasted thing to work. I would use more YouTube unfriendly language at that point because I was swearing like a trooper. And as I say, things nearly went out window with without it necessarily being opened. But I reckon I can get some painting done. So that might be a treat for later. It might be bonus content. I haven't decided yet because I'm just so relieved that I've actually managed to get this far. And we'll make a plan based on what we've succeeded in doing. Anyway, going back onto things I'm doing, I've got this, which is a great haul for the Ars Magica. And this is kit bashed up from a Warbase's grain store. And you can see on the end of there, and it's going to have a lean-to at the end, which is going to be a kitchen unit. Now, I haven't decided whether or not the kitchen unit is going to be, I'm going to take the roof off that or not. But the dimensions are written on the end of there in pencil, and you can see my 70 by 50 is the height, and then I'll get 2 bases that side, get 2 bases 55 by 50, and I'll put an angle across the top. I'll drop it from 55 to 50, and then I'll use one of the 75 by 50s to sit on top of it, and I will do this with my input again. As it's a gaming model rather than an exact scale model, it's probably a bit narrow, but I put the doors in inside and out where they would normally be. So if we game with it, we can see where you know what the relevant bits are. I've got the KNLI who are just about to get started again, but they've been just about to get started again for about 2-3 weeks at this point. And I've got various other bits and pieces, including the Black Order, Ultima, and a great load of player character models downstairs. Some of the Black Order are finished, like this guy, and most of them are pretty close to being finished. Same goes with the Ultima. The main thing with the Ultima people is that I'm waiting for tufts for them, and I'll order those tufts just as soon as I know I can afford them, which will be exactly after I've paid a couple of bills that I'm expected to come out. I've tried to pay them early, but it wouldn't let me. I should have paid them possibly yesterday, because this is the day they're due to come out, and they probably don't want me to pay them, so that when it automatically pays them, I don't have the money for them. I hate automatic payments, I really do. I like to be in control of that sort of thing, because then if I foul up, it's my fault, rather than not. And again, with a small business that's paid on, you know, what you do, it can get a little bit hairy and stressy. But as I say, I reckon that's close enough for you to see what's going on. This, by the way, is a Dutch armoured lorry, one of the other Uber wagons. These tend to be used by the police for sort of riot and sort of crowd control-y type stuff. And they weren't armed, unlike the Barrett Uberwagen, which was, and some versions of which had machine guns hanging off from every angle you can imagine. The Recon one had one in each direction. Probably didn't fire them all at once, but basically this was just a troop transport. There's a door at the back, little opening door. You can get in and out the back, or you can climb out the top. And sitting in the seats, you get some cover from incoming fire. You get a lot of cover from the front. But basically, this is a 3D print, of which this is the long wheelbase one, and I'll be getting 2 more of these because Platoon was 4 vehicles and 3 sections of 10 to 12, which would go in the back of here and be the drivers for this as well, and a command section which would go in which I'm putting in a short wheelbase version, this is the short wheelbase version. No, this is the long wheelbase version. This is the short wheelbase version. They are almost identical except for wheelbase. The long wheelbase one is longer. It's as simple as that. It's the same as Landies. Short wheelbase Landies were short and long wheelbase Landies were long. I just nearly spilled coffee over everything, which isn't good because it's a horrific waste of coffee. And as this is being filmed as ever in the cool of a morning, I really need the coffee after the hour and a half nap that I meant to pass for sleep last night. But there are lots of things on, and given that I'm going to be picking up the camcorder, which is now back into English and set on HD, I hope, I will be able to film down in the workshop. Well, I'll be able to film down in the workshop once I've got the project that's sitting down there at the minute out of the way. I've got the Halo stuff, which is finished, and you should have been seeing pictures of it either on YouTube or on YouTube community posts or on Facebook, but that's all done. But I've got a load of Gothic gateways and walls to do, Victorian Gothic style things. And I've got to scratch build some stone pillars. Stone pillars will be made of 10mm square ABS tubing, which I'll sort of lengths and put capstones on made out of probably MDF bases. It'll either be sawn up bits of MDF, or if I need a bigger one, I'll use a bigger base. So that'll be that. And when that's done, I'll be able to game on that area. In fact, I'm intending to get someone in to actually clear that table end, so I can actually have the whole table, because it's a 3x6 at the minute, and I could quite easily get a 4x6 board and sit it on top of there and actually have a proper war game on there. So, and get all my scenery out, because I've got lots of scenery, various stages of completion. I'm going to get that properly boxed up so that I can actually get it in and out of storage. And if I get help, someone helps me clear the workshop, and I sort the shelving out properly with replacing some of the shelving with this stuff, I can then hopefully get it on and off the shelf for use much more quickly. So there'll be developments, there'll be gaming. Now I've got the new camera set up, I'll be able to do game prep down on this desk, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So it's all positive, I think, anyway. And other developments is I'm probably going to be resurrecting my buy me a coffee thing. I used to have it, but I basically turned off the subscription level thing where you could actually pay monthly or whatever, when I got really depressed the other year and hopeless, and it became a stressor, and I got rid of that part of it. So I'm going to resurrect that. I'm also possibly going to be starting up a Patreon again. Again, Patreon for me is a way of funding this thing rather than the business. The business is self-support. Well, the business should be self-supporting. This needs to be self-supporting on the side. So, and the Patreon levels will be a little bit limited because I don't really want to take a lot of people's money off. I have a thing about begging, and asking for people to donate money to you on Patreon and stuff like that is a little bit in the begging area or close to it. And again, that sort of thing will get to me if I do it to, over beyond a certain level. So we will think about that. I'm thinking very much of it being a sort of a $1 to $3 a month, the sort of £1 to £3 a month, the sort of thing that you could pay and not even notice you're paying it if you're in on any sort of income. But again, it would all go towards this because there are, I've put quite a hefty investment into the kit here. I won't scare you with numbers, but it's hefty, and every time I look around I seem to want to have to buy more stuff. And that doesn't mention the stuff I actually need for work, like this camera, which was, well, nearly 600 quid. And yes, it is an estate and it isn't any new, but I'm a painter and I get painty hands, and you need to take little snaps of stuff as you're going along because YouTube demands you put hundreds of posts up a week. Currently, I'm trying to moderate that, which is why I spend a lot of time counting posts to make sure I've not exceeded the number. Sorry, it's itchy and hot in here still. I know I'm drinking coffee, but I haven't got any cold caffeine, so it's going to have to be hot caffeine to keep me awake long enough to paint this, to record this. And then I've got to get everything back on the workbench and actually start working. I've got deliveries today at some point. Again, I'll be twitchy before they arrive. And once they arrive, I'll be able to get on with projects. So things are developing and things are coming along. And I know I keep saying that, but if I say it often enough, I'll actually believe it, and I won't slip back into the old happiness that I was in the other year, because it's not fun. And I noticed from looking at the screen that there is a big I need updating from OBS, which is going to be jolly fun, and this is going to be the thing I do after I've recorded this. So I need to know from people what they want. So I might be putting some quizzes up, I might be putting up some surveys, because I want to give you on this channel what you want. And I failed the nursing course on paranormal powers and ability to know stuff that people didn't tell you. So feedback is always useful. Even negative feedback, to be perfectly honest, because negative feedback, again, allows you to point out, well, it tells you what you're doing wrong, and you can then fix what you're doing wrong. Yeah, it's a very flash web camera, and it has a remote control on it. I have no idea precise, well, the remote controller seems to be properly labelled, but I haven't used it yet. All I've done is put some batteries in it. It didn't come with batteries included, shockingly. And I had to go around to the shop at the corner and get myself some. Because I thought that was the problem I was having with the webcam. It's not, it wasn't. It was USB buses. And yeah. Irksome. All the other things you have to learn in order to be a professional painter these days that have got absolutely nothing to do with the skill set of being a painter, but I've got a lot to do with the skill set of being an IT bod, and I haven't been an IT bod at all since 25 years now, and you know, I'm happy with happy that I can still use the damn stuff, but doing the sort of stuff that I used to do, sort of as an additional to nursing, was a little bit outside my skill range at the moment, especially as a lot of things have changed. Sometimes for the better, even, shockingly. Well, the other thing is I'm going to start doing live streams again. I only stopped doing live streams again because, as far as I could tell, I couldn't legally do it without a TV licence. And I'd not got a TV licence because I didn't need a TV licence and it's an expense. And because I don't watch TV personally, and I don't, you know, I've got YouTube and I've got my hobby and I've got, you know, podcasts and things, you know, you can do other things, you don't have to be glued to TV. Therefore, why pay for it? Unfortunately, in order to watch live or broadcast, I have to have one. So the company will be paying for that because it's a business thing that I wouldn't otherwise have. I'm also planning on going back to Crisis this year, and I'm also planning on cornering Sander van der Seur, Mr. May 40, before we both get so flaming exhausted we can barely move, which is the mistake I made last time. I'll be taking the camcorder and I'll be doing some camcording around Crisis. I also want to try and get out to more shows this year so I can actually, well, A, get out and about, and B, show off some of it here. Because, you know, I could go to Partisan, I could go to any of the Newark shows and just show people. I know a lot of people go to them, but it's always nice to see things. I won't be going to Salute at any point because it's London and I really owed it in London when I was working there yonks ago. I would have liked to have gone to Expo this year, but unfortunately it coincided with me being utterly broke, and it was also far too hot for me to leave the house very much, and I was nocturnal because that's how I deal with stupid heat. But I think I am rambling now, so expect a load more shorts, because EvilGinger in Shorts is going to be a thing. I'm looking for someone to do a logo for EvilGinger in Shorts, not least because using it on the Facebook thing allows me to schedule things so I actually understand what's going on and I can see what I've scheduled and what I've not scheduled. And two, I like logos and giving money to artists. I like it when people give me money for doing arty things as well. So I'm going to be looking for someone to do some channel art, and you will be paid. Can't afford to pay you an awful lot, but I will pay you actual physical folding, well, electronic folding money anyway. So that's going to come up. We're going to get some series logos, so I know which series everything's in. So there'll be a role-playing logo, there'll be a Shorts logo, there will be a Tuesday logo, there may be others, and there'll be a channel banner, which is better than the one that I did on GIMP in 10 minutes. After half an hour of trying to remember how to do script on GIMP, which was jolly fun because I used to use that a lot, but then I forgot because I didn't use it for about 5 years because I used to do all my dungeon plans and drawings and sketches. The Ars Magica game is going on, and I'm not the moderator. I don't run the Discord that it's on, otherwise I would invite you on to see the stuff that's doing, because I have bullied my my players into actually doing stuff and helping me out. So there's maps and there's diagrams and there's all the sorts of things that I used to do when I had time and I wasn't working 24/7 or sleeping. So that's developments. There'll be an in-person Hackmaster game at some point. Again, I've got to arrange that and I've got to sort the venue out. I'll be getting some more Hackmaster books in so that I can actually basically have them for the players. And there'll be developments. There's also a role-playing review of that diceless system coming up at some point. in the nearest future. But it all depends on when the Kickstarter that Guy was bullying me to join in on finishes and I actually get the physical product. Talking about Kickstarter, Orange Cat Games have put their backer kit out, and again, that's something I'm going to have to deal with. I've already looked at and reviewed the PDF of the actual scenario, which is a nice little scenario, but I need to add some bits and pieces which will be going on the Etsy shop. I also need to put a Reaper order in, as I keep saying, and a few other bits and pieces like that. So it's all going to be development. Expect the Etsy shop to be reborn, and there to be lots of good stuff on there for you to buy and have fun with. Anyway, I've just looked at the time, and you have had 25 minutes of me. So I'm running out of things to say. I'm rambling. I'm more incoherent than normal, and I really ought to do a bullet points thing, because I can't read scripts. It's a subset of dyslexia, but I can speak to bullet points. So if I actually have bullet points up on the laptop, I can then sort of remember that and make sure that I've got everything sorted out. So I'll start doing that, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. But remember, like this thing and subscribe, because I'm just looking for more bodies, and I'm looking to be able to pay my people who provide me with technical support. So take care everybody, and goodbye for now. See you in the next one. Bye.